Hi, the lesson I'm sharing with you today is about the circle of the church year. And I'm presenting this lesson as it will be shared with the young learners class, but it's the same lesson if you were teaching it to the early elementary or the intermediate elementary as well. And for the young learners, we'll be introducing this lesson during Advent and then again about 6 months later. So you'll be kind of refreshing them on the circle of the church year a couple times a year, but you'll also be referring to the circle of the church year every single Sunday as you move the arrow along throughout the great green growing seasons and into Lent and Easter and all the way around. So they get a little bit of exposure to this every single week. But it's an important part of participating in the liturgy and understanding the process of the whole year and how we as soon as Jesus is born, are anticipating his death. And as soon as he is resurrected from the dead, we move straight along through the celebration of that time, anticipating again that we will come around to talk about his birthday. So it's all kind of built into the process of each Sunday, acknowledging that those are all part of God's big story. With the young learners class, it's always good to begin the lesson refreshing them and reminding them about the expectations in the classroom. The kids that have moved up to this room are fairly fresh to the structure of the older classes, and so they've had a lot of playtime when they were 3, and now that they're 4 or 5, this is probably a little more structure than they're used to on Sunday mornings. So it's good to revisit the orientation that you had a couple months ago with them, just to make sure that they don't forget that this is not a playground, it's not a living room, it's not a restaurant, it's a sanctuary. It's a classroom that's been set apart to learn about God and to think about God and to treat one another with kindness and remember what it is to love like Jesus. So just takes a couple of moments as they gather in the circle. You've hopefully introduced yourself and given them a little bit of time to settle in. Depending on when this lesson is taught, it's great to refer back to the most recent holiday or look forward to one that's coming and get a little input from them. Younger children love to share the things that they dressed up as for Halloween, or their favorite part of the Thanksgiving meal, maybe things they're looking forward to for the summer, or their favorite thing about the fall. Whatever it is that is pertinent to that time of year, it's good to get a little input from them. They feel a little more welcome and more connected with one another by starting off in a conversational way. After you've had that time and you feel like everybody has completely arrived and there aren't any stragglers, taking a moment just to go through reminding the children that they need to always walk in the classroom. You can point out the children that are setting an example in these images. There's no rush in this classroom. They can walk and take their time. They also can sit crisscross and show that they're in control of their hands and their legs and help their body to work the way it's meant to focus on the lesson by keeping it calm and helping their ears to be attentive. Whispering in the classroom. There's no reason to shout or scream. It's a small room and we want to create a peaceful environment. This is a great picture to help them to get in a circle and to mimic the children in the picture, sitting crisscross, keeping their hands and feet to themselves. And you can ask the children, something that works great with 4 and 5-year-olds is you can say, "Wow, Henry, you're sitting so nicely. Who else do you see that's also sitting crisscross, who also has their hands under control?" And allow the children to compliment one another and point out the good behavior of their classmates. And then once Henry has chosen Judah, then Judah can choose another kid, and that kid can pick another, and it just is a really positive way to reinforce the right behaviors. You might also remind them that when it's feast time, this picture is kind of hard to see in the video, but they can sit properly and enjoy their feast and pray together and enjoy that feast time without making a mess. So good to always refer back to these. And then, as opposed to going over the circle of the church year today, you can just launch right into the lesson, and I'll do that now. Depending on how many kids you have, feel free to adapt and edit the lesson as you want. Because this lesson has lots of little beads that can kind of roll around and become distracting, if you would rather have each child hold a bead and do their very best to keep it still and calm while you tell the story. And this will be just a way to kind of keep them focused, to bring in that tactile attention. That's great. If you would rather only count out one purple bead for each holy preparation season for Advent and Lent, as opposed to counting out all of them, that's fine. If you want to only have one green bead to represent all of those common Sundays, those great green growing season days, that's fine. Don't feel like you have to go through and count out every single bead if you realize that the attention span just isn't there. Yes, after the lesson, if you could make absolutely certain that everything gets back in the box and put it up where it won't become part of the playtime, that would be helpful, because these little beads just roll and disappear very easily. So thank you for helping out with that. And I'll go ahead and begin the lesson, but again, like I said, feel at liberty to adjust it in whatever way makes sense for your own teaching style and for the kids that are in your class that day. So, alrighty, I'm going to get started. I'll move this down so that you can see what I'm doing. Now look at this box. It's different than the boxes we've been looking at lately, isn't it? It's not gold, and it's not a rectangle. It has a curved top, and it's long and thin. I wonder what could be inside of this box. It's not a parable, but it is a sacred story. I wonder what this story could be about. It definitely is going to help us to think about the seasons and time and the church year, the things that happen throughout the year here at church and out in our lives when we think about God and we think about Jesus and the things that we learn. Let's see what's inside. Look at this. Time, time, time. There are all kinds of time. Tick-tock, that's something that makes me think of time. Waiting, that makes me think of time. Wake up, go to sleep. Meal times, those make me think of time. There's so many kinds of time. There's a time to get up in the morning, and there's a time to go to bed. There's a time to go to school, and there's a time to come home. There's a time to work, and there's a time to play. But what is time? It's a strange question. What is time? Some people say that time is a line. But I wonder what that line would look like. Wait a minute. I wonder if it's kind of like this. Time in a line. Look at this. Here's the beginning. See that? It has just been born. It's brand new. Now look, it's getting older. The part that was new is now getting old. I wonder how long time goes. Does it go on forever and forever and forever? Could there ever be an ending to time? Could it ever be finished? Well, this chord ended. There it is. There's the end. But what is time? What can we learn from time? What does time tell us about God and about God's story? In the beginning, that was new, the very beginning that was new, which is now old. Well, the ending is the new part now. That's confusing. Look at this. It's almost like we have a beginning that is now like an ending, and an ending that is now like a beginning, and it just goes around and around and around. Well, you know what the church did? A long time ago, they decided that they would tie the beginning that was like an end and tie the end that was like the beginning together, so that we would always remember and never forget that for every beginning, there's an end, and for every end, there's a beginning. Now, we've talked about this before. Let's see what's in the box. There are 3 great times, 3 very important times. Do you know what they are? I wonder if you can guess. We have Christmas time. We have Easter time. And we have Pentecost time. Christmas is coming. Jesus' birthday. Very mysterious time and an exciting time. Easter is when we celebrate Jesus' death and resurrection. Also very mysterious, sad and exciting. Pentecost, you may not have heard of before. That's a very special time when God spoke to his whole family in their own languages, in their own way of hearing, and began a new time in which the Holy Spirit was with us. People can walk right through the mysteries of these great times every year and not even know that they are there. They might get so busy they don't really pay attention to Christmas, Easter, and Pentecost. They may not even know that they're happening or how important they are. Well, we need time to get ready. Everyone needs time to get ready to come close to these mysteries. Now, there are some times for getting ready. We're in one right now. Right now, we're getting ready for Christmas. Right now, we're getting ready for Christmas. And when we get ready for Easter, it's called Lent. So we have Advent and Lent. It's longer than the time for getting ready for the mystery. Lent is longer than the time that it takes to get ready for the mystery of Christmas, which we call Advent. We might think that that's probably because Easter is an even greater mystery than Christmas. It takes longer to get ready for something like Easter. Now, let's see if we can build the circle of the church year again. Let's see if we can create the time of getting ready, of celebrating, and we can look up here and see how it matches. See on the wall behind me? Let's see. Whoops. How many days are there? How many Sundays are there for getting ready for Christmas? 1, 2, 3, 4. Getting ready for Easter. Got a few beads missing, so we'll use these in their place. Teachers, I'll try to get more beads before the lesson